Our paths here may vary.
A single, hardworking mom.
A young immigrant.
But our call is the same. We come to make a difference.
Wearing our cause.
And raising our voices.
So all are heard. Waging the fights that need fighting.
One by one, our numbers have grown.
And we are here to work.
We square our shoulders, we put on our lipstick, and we get to work.
When we're on a mission, we get things done.
There are people in Congress who will go to any length to deny women access to critical health care. Not on my watch.
Enough is enough. We've lost too many to gun violence. In our schools, our places of worship, and even where we dance. We must do more to keep Americans safe. And I'm ready to do it.
How many more families do we have to put at risk before we take action on climate change?
Every child deserves to have safe, clean water to drink. And I'm going to keep fighting every day to make sure that happens in Flint and in every community.
You name me one woman who works 79% as hard as a man. You can't. That's why we need equal pay.
The next generation will need a whole new set of skills to be career ready in a technology-driven economy. And helping them get there, that's our job.
Helping communities fight back against a public health crisis like drug addiction. This is exactly the reason we're all here.
When the Minneapolis I-35W bridge collapsed during rush hour, nothing could stop us from getting the funding to rebuild.
This is about being a voice for all the parents who are fighting for their kids. And I will take a backseat to no one when it comes to speaking up for families.
Farm families, rural families, Native American families. They deserve a champion in Washington. I'll never let them down.
I didn't run to make history. I ran to make a difference. Families can count on me to fight for their jobs and hold Wall Street accountable. That's the difference.
I ran to be a voice for every new American trying to thrive in our country. That's how I help women and families succeed.
I ran because someone needed to say our country should be investing in students the same way it invests in big banks.
We didn't burst through these doors looking for glory.
We're here to do what needs doing, period, no matter how much fight it takes.
This first will become the first of many.
We, for the first time, had a traffic jam in the women's senator's bathroom.
Year by year, one by one.
We grow stronger, and the fight grows stronger.
Because we are here together.
This chamber is stronger because we are together.
And America will grow even stronger because we are together.
Please welcome Senator Barbara Mikulski from Maryland and the women of the United States Senate.
In 1987, I was the first In 1987, I was the first Democratic woman elected to the Senate in her own right. Yes, the history of women in the Senate is not short. It's about 4'11". Though I was the first, I didn't want to be the only. I lit one candle, but I wanted more women so we could light a torch and lighten the load on all of you. As our ranks have grown, I've had the privilege of mentoring so many talented women. And you know what? In 2000, I got a call from one of them. She was considering a Senate run, but she had one question. She said to me, "Senator Barb, can a senator really get things done?" I told her a lot, and boy, did she prove me right. As a senator, she championed the economic security of American families. When Republicans tried to turn Social Security over to the big banks, she helped deliver a knockout blow. And when the Supreme Court told Lilly Ledbetter no way on equal pay, she pushed for the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act to guarantee equal pay for equal work. I finished that job, and the Fair Pay Act was the first bill Barack Obama signed into law. Her name was Hillary Clinton, and she's going to be our next president. But you know what? She needs help across the generations. So I just have one question. Are you with us? Families of America, it's time to suit up. Women, put your lipstick on. Men, polish those shoes. Our shoulders are square. We're ready to fight, to put Hillary in the White House, because we know she'll carry the torch for all of us.
Year after year in the Senate, we have faced ridiculous antics from Republicans determined to roll back health care options for women. But with Hillary Clinton, they never stood a chance. When the Bush administration tried to block women's access to Plan B contraception, Hillary was by my side and ready to fight. Our demand was simple: base decisions about women's health on science, not political ideology. Together, we stood up to an administration ruled by special interests and the extreme right. We refused to back down until the FDA did their job and put science and women first. Now, women across America are free to choose safe, emergency contraception. That's Hillary, a leader who knows how to stand her ground, fight for what is right, and move our country forward.
In 1995, I was there. I saw Hillary speak at the United Nations 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing. It was a tense time. There was a great deal of anticipation around the First Lady's remarks, whether she would speak. What would she say? I watched with the crowd of women as she named one after another injustices suffered by women around the world. She was calm and determined and absolutely fearless as she declared that women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights. As a woman and as an American, I was filled with pride. That's Hillary. In Beijing, she broke the silence, and this November, she'll break the glass ceiling once and for all.
As a former businesswoman, I can tell you how important family and medical leave is for 21st century jobs. Hillary fought for that. She fought for a higher minimum wage. She knows we build our economy from the middle out. She supports new apprentice and job training programs for laid off workers. And she wants to make sure that we help everyone. I watched her grow a Seattle-based organization, Moms Rising, fighting for economic security. And now it's 1 million people, and Moms Rising and Hillary are fighting for paid family leave. Hillary's opponent might have built buildings and casinos, but Hillary is building the foundation of an economy that works for everyone, and that's real change.
Minnesota steelworkers have a group of workers called the Women of Steel. The senators up here are women of steel. And Hillary Clinton is a woman of steel. Here's my Hillary story. After that devastating earthquake hit Haiti, somewhere in the rubble were dozens of orphans set to be adopted by families in my state. Distraught Minnesota moms were on the ground looking for their babies. When they called me, I called the only person I knew would help, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. She did not pawn it off. She went to work. She got those babies home. That's Hillary, the friend who takes the call, the mom who gets it done right. Those kids may never know she changed their lives forever, but she did. That's a leader, and that's our next president.
We all know that Hillary is the most knowledgeable, most experienced, most capable leader to run for president, maybe ever. But here's something you may not know. Earlier this year, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, Hillary called me to check in. Not once, not twice, but several times. Here she was in the middle of an intense campaign, and she was asking me questions about my treatment. She wanted to know how they were going, and she told me to keep up the fight. Her words gave me strength during one of the toughest tests of my life. And let me tell you, she didn't do it because I was a senator. There are thousands of people across this country who could tell the exact same story I am telling you tonight. She has the intelligence. She has the work ethic. But most importantly, she has the heart to lead this country.
As all of us here know, our policies abroad have real consequences at home. For 15 years, a printing manufacturer in my state of New Hampshire struggled with a foreign trade dispute. The costs to the company were so high, hundreds of jobs were threatened. At Hillary Clinton's confirmation hearing for Secretary of State, I brought the issue to her attention, and she promised to look into it. Well, within just 90 days, the issue was resolved. Here Hillary was, a newly minted Secretary of State, having to get up to speed on every major issue across the globe, and yet she kept her word, and she took the time to help out one struggling New Hampshire company. But that's Hillary. When you need a champion, there is no one better to have in your corner.
Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has been a mentor to me throughout my whole career. But long before our first conversation, Hillary spoke to me. In fact, she was speaking to a room full of women, members of a Democratic organization I had just joined. But standing in the back of that crowded room, I felt like she was talking directly to me. And she said, Decisions are being made every day in Washington. And if you are not part of those decisions and you don't like what they decide, you have no one to blame but yourself. Hillary believes that to her core. It's why, after nearly 4 decades of public service, she is still fighting to make a difference. And it's why I'm proud to fight for her.
When I was 9, I was hospitalized for 3 months with a serious illness. My grandparents raised me, and their family health plan didn't cover grandchildren. They had to pay my medical bills out of pocket. Then I was considered a child with a pre-existing condition, and they couldn't find me coverage at any price. I entered public service to fight for health care coverage for all, especially children and young adults. Hillary Clinton has led that fight for decades. With the help of her relentless advocacy, 8 million children are insured and their families more secure. When I got to Congress, I continued Hillary's work to ensure that our most vulnerable children have the care they need. That's Hillary. As president, she'll fight for healthier families and a fair shot for all.
I am an immigrant. My mother brought me to America for a better future. Growing up, I understood that a better future didn't just happen. As Americans, we have to work for the changes we seek. In college, appalled by the Vietnam War, I became an activist. And when I met Hillary Clinton, I found a kindred spirit. Hillary is a policymaker with an activist heart. She knows that the most effective way to make change is to claim a seat at the table. But no matter how high she's climbed, she's never forgotten who she's fighting for. Children, working families, immigrants, small businesses. That's Hillary. Wherever people are getting a raw deal, she's with them, fighting to make it right. That's why I'm with her.
I believe it is important to fight back when powerful people try to rig the system. Guys like Donald Trump will do anything to help the rich and powerful get richer and more powerful. And Trump is willing to step on anyone who gets in his way. Hillary Clinton knows how to fight back against dangerous, loudmouthed bullies. For 25 years, she's been on the receiving end of one attack after another. But she doesn't back down. She doesn't whine. She doesn't run to Twitter to give people ugly nicknames. And she sure as heck doesn't quit. Hillary just keeps on fighting for the people who need her most. That's Hillary. She's battle-tested, and she's the fighter working families need in the White House.
When Hillary Clinton made history, and joined us in the United States Senate, she was not seeking the spotlight. We served together on the Environment and Public Works Committee, and let me tell you, she was a workhorse, humble, steady, ready to learn. Then, just 8 months later, she was thrust into the middle of the worst attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. In those dark, dark days that followed 9/11, I saw Hillary's true character. She consoled a grieving population. She sprung into action, securing benefits for the families of the fallen and getting the funding New York needed to rebuild. When Ground Zero responders became sick, she demanded answers from the Bush administration. I saw her do it. She fought to make sure that they got the health care they need. And when the cameras were off, she never stopped working and she never stopped fighting. And that's why members on both sides of the aisle praised her for her dignity, her resolve, and her effectiveness. That's Hillary. In crisis or in calm, whether we need a hand or a real heart-to-heart, we can always count on her to come through. As our dean, Senator Mikulski, likes to say, this election is not about gender, it's about an agenda, one that includes every single American, and we, the Democratic women of the Senate, we stand shoulder to shoulder with Hillary, resolved and ready to make her the next President of the United States of America.